Hello and welcome back for another match of Vintage. I'm Drew Levin and this is the Blue-White Angels deck. We are on the draw, and if our opponent is playing Mishra's Workshops, then I really don't care. We'll lose this game, but I think we're actually decently set up against a bunch of different fair decks. I just don't know how many people are playing fair decks and how many people are playing workshop decks on Magic Online. If people keep playing workshop decks against me, I swear to God I'm going to play Trigon Predator. Like, those last two matches were not okay. Okay, we're playing against Oath, which is far more acceptable. Our opponent is casting Demonic Tutor for Oath. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than he or she does and is his or her opponent. The first player may reveal Jesus. Basically, it's if you have the fewest creatures, then flip cards until you hit a creature and put the rest in your graveyard. Their top card, it turns out, was Gristlebrand. So now they have Gristlebrand. I have to imagine we are going to die this turn. So the thing about this deck is that the cards that matter are this land and this enchantment. Okay. We are not interested in showing them what we're playing. But we're boarding in Grafdigger's Cage for sure. I think we want to board in a bunch of removal, although I could just be super wrong about that. Actually, removal seems awful. I think that we just want to stop Oath from triggering. I think once they have Gristlebrand, we're like in pretty bad shape, and we have Jace anyway. So what else? Oh, Disenchant, of course. Of course, of course. And Council's Judgment, why not? And probably not these Restoration Angels again. I'm really iffy on these Restoration Angels, you guys. But anyway. Wow. This hand is something else. Library and Recall and Drain and Cage. Get our Cage Thoughtseize. Get our Recall Thoughtseize. Sort of doesn't matter, we have Snapcaster Mage anyway, but we took a fairly large risk playing Library on the play here. I think it might have just been better to Ancestral, play Island and Ancestral, so that our Library is for sure live. I think that might have just been loose, and then we can play Cage and Library and tap it, and yeah, okay. We should have played Land Recall and then Library Cage. So we have shut off our own Recall, but we've also shut off their Oath, and now we get to play a much longer game, which favors us as the controllers of a Library of Alexandria. and it just means that the drawback on their thing is quite severe. Their Forbidden Orchard, because like they don't have upside of giving us creatures. So I think we're gonna play Fact or Fiction as soon as they tap through drain mana. Or we can just drain into Foth. I don't love the idea of letting them resolve an oath. So we have another drain to protect ourselves with. And I think we're going to play this. Just because more mana sources can't hurt. And if they kill our cage, then at least we have like Flashback Ancestral. So it's a May ability, so they don't have to trigger it. So they're probably gonna like see if they can Nature's Claim this cage, and then ooh, Abrupt Decay. That's rough. So we can't Foff into Plow. Yeah, Abrupt Decay is really good. Puke. Okay. Jesus. Yeah, okay. Well, we messed up which land we played on turn 1 and got dearly punished for it. And I do mean dearly punished. Yeah, we should have just played Land Recall. Discards Vampiric Tutor. Well, we probably can't win. Time to cast Fact or Fiction. And get it, Force of Willed. Okay, we are, for all intents and purposes, super dead. It's going to take a little bit, much as, things take a while when you're playing against Reanimator and they have Gristlebrand. And by a while, I mean it takes exactly 3 turns, sometimes 2. But yeah, they just decay your permanent hate and then kill you. which is not a bad way to do business, I think. Hmm. I don't think we're winning. Our opponent has 27 fewer cards in their deck than we do, and that's generally a sign of being ahead in Vintage. Casting Demonic Tutor, also a good sign of being ahead. Okay, I figured out what my problem is with this deck. There aren't any like blow the game open cards, and this is Vintage where like part of what you're trying to do is draw to either your restricted cards or not let your opponent play Magic. Okay, there is Stone Cold no way that we are surviving this. They have Lotus and Walk and Demonic and Mox and Crypt and Ring in their 2 Moxes. Yeah, no, we're just dead. Okay. So this deck doesn't have any like blow the game open cards. Instead, it has like Stoneforge Mystic and Restoration Angel, and like powerful cards certainly, but like you're trying to grind out your edges with like Stoneforge into Batterskull, and people are casting like Gristlebrand and Yawgmoth's Will, and they have as much counter magic as you do. Like, let's talk about their like Force and Misstep and Drain and Flusterstorm, and then like Thought Seizes and Decays to back it up. Like, they can match us on counter magic. People do that all the time in Vintage, except they happen to have like Oath, where we have Snapcaster or Mystic, and instead of like I don't know, they also have Jace, and instead of Foff they have Thirst for Knowledge. So like it's the same blue decks, except they're playing combo and we're playing like white creatures, which in the history of Magic are not the best thing that you can be doing in a given format, and certainly not in the most powerful ones. So like that's what I think is going on with why I dislike this deck, but we'll play another match and find out.